Monty Python, clown, charlatan. I've been accused of all of those things, and they're probably true. Right, let me just put that there. It's interesting, actually, when you think about sort of comments like that. Charlatan does vaguely spring to mind, only in as much as I wouldn't class myself in the sort of same level as a lot of these people speaking today. I know very little about data, but as Nick said, we stumbled across a problem, and today I'm hopefully going to go through that and show you what the problem was and how we've addressed it, and what we're attempting to do, but also our stance and our opinion and where we sit with data. So let's start off. I'm also known for putting videos in. It's great because it kind of cuts down the amount of time I have to talk. So hopefully we've got a few in there today. Yeah. Okay, so my name is Aylmer, and I'm here to talk to you about big data and how we at Tag Team are building our technology product and are looking to integrate it into the Saudi Arabia pilgrimages of Hajj and Umrah in Mecca and Medina. Now, I'm not sure what you guys know about. Some people have heard this before, so I apologise now. I'm going to be basically going through, and I'm going to introduce to you what Tag Team is as a product, and I'll try to showcase to you the sheer scale of the operation that is in front of us. So I'll talk a little bit about the Hajj itself and the kind of ritual behind that, and how it's kind of laid out. And then I'm going to attempt to illustrate how we plan to tackle it from a data management perspective. And that's this kind of scary bit, because unlike FCG, we're kind of at the start of our journey. So we can kind of look at things in a very different way. We've kind of got a clean slate, I guess. So starting off with Tag Team. Tag Team is a crowd control, security and management business based in Guernsey. And we're very, very proud of that. We're in the process of working with the Saudi government to deliver a crowd control solution for the Hajj, as I said before, which covers the Hajj and the Umrah, which is a 12-month cycle for the holy pilgrimages. So to give you an understanding of our core technology, here is a short video to illustrate what our product is. Hopefully that should be it.
Tag Team, the world's most advanced crowd control, security and management system. Tag Team integrates a smart device into a real-time infrastructure solution and command and control environment. The Tag Team device offers the following core features: accurate radio frequency tracking, two-way command and control OLED screen, GSM and RFID communications, water, heat and dust resistant, a battery life of up to 6 months, and translates into 150 languages. Our crowd control system offers a real-time trackability to within 10 centimetres, with an antenna range of 350 plus metres. We have created a command and control environment in 2D, 3D, CCTV and virtual reality. We offer automated and manual commands to individuals and groups. Our system has an automated boundary control function throughout your entire map. Along with the 2D mapping, we have created a 3D mapping environment throughout the entire grid. The command center offers heat mapping of the entire crowd scope, allowing you to action trouble spots across the network. Tag Team has also integrated a virtual reality guard feature, allowing a guard or medic to put on a set of virtual reality glasses and position themselves on ground level in real time in the mapped 3D environment, giving you the ability of seeing your crowd and trouble spots easily. Along with our core security and control features, Tag Team devices store key medical data, such as blood type and serious medical issues. As well as medical data, the solution offers seamless automated transport and concession stand payment integration, allowing for easy access for travel and goods. Tag Team is an advanced, all-inclusive intelligence system. It was launched in 2015 with a proof of concept in November 2016 and full solution integration in 2017. Tag Team, the world's most accurate and advanced crowd control, security and management system. Integrate us into your team.
So there we go, there's the product. Great, shiny product. It's got a relatively logical sort of the way it's been developed and the way it looks and the way we're presenting it. But it's the data side that I think is the most fascinating. And this is the bit that I think our team is focusing on the most. It's the fact that we've got 3 million pilgrims who are going to be using our device, or 3 million Hajji, as they're called. And they're attending the Hajj. They'll be coming from 150 different countries. They'll speak over 120 different languages. And they'll be collecting key data from over 4,000 Hajj agents, which will be scattered all over the globe. That in its own right is quite a challenge. And it's one that, I think having discussions with the government itself, we know that we have to go straight to the source. So when the pilgrim lands in Mecca or Jeddah, we will start the crowd management process there, where they will be tracked and ushered around the entire Hajj site. The system will be able to monitor them and send key messages to their device about where they should go, what they should not do, what they should go, or where they should go, sorry, what they should be doing through the various key stages of the Hajj. In the background and at the command center end, our software and algorithms will track and holistically assess the crowd on scale for the experts in the command center and monitor trouble spots. This will be using tools such as heat mapping, speed mapping, group mapping, and it will be worked across our entire 3D and virtual reality command center interface. In fact, we're just working on next-gen OS for this as we speak, which should be ready probably in about 8 weeks. Looking at my CTO. And it's mind-blowing. It's absolutely mind-blowing. We do have a virtual reality environment where it's very straightforward. You've got a 3D space, and we know where XYZ is. And within XYZ, we know that we can pull up 2 to 3 million individuals. And that's really, really powerful, because it allows us to be able to then go street side with virtual reality, Oculus and the likes, and get involved and work out from a human perspective how crowds actually work. And that's, I think, one of the things that's most powerful about what we're trying to achieve. It's humanizing the whole process, and I'll show you that, a really good example of that in a second. Our command center is fully immersive, as I've just said, and it will be the whole purpose of this is for the Hajj security services. They actually flew over 6 months ago to assess us as a company, and they came to a studio up in St Martin's where we were running our trial. And yeah, it's quite funny to see some sort of governmental individuals from Saudi Arabia kind of looking in Guernsey, kind of a bit startled by what we were trying to achieve. But they totally got it, and that's really exciting. So our command center, as I said, will be primarily for them, for their command and control environment. The reason for this is they had a major incident in 2015 where 2,200 people died at the Hajj. I think some of you might remember this. It was quite a big news at the time. 10,000 people were injured. And this is a massive, massive issue. For them, the PR, the publicity, certainly within the Muslim world, was immense. They got a lot of flack from it, not just from the Iraqis but and the Iranians, who clearly piled in on it from a press perspective. But they just decided at that point that enough was enough. They had to look at this in more detail. We happened to be there at the time. We actually took it to them. I think, as Nick said, about a year earlier, we were in discussions with the Ministry of Interior, and we were saying, look, we've got this solution for you guys, and just happened to be fortuitous. The timing was perfect. So just to give you an understanding, because I think if you can get into the mind of the individual, then you can kind of address where you are. If we actually look at the Hajji themselves, these are people that have probably saved up their entire life to come to this one event. The sense of intensity within this environment, it absolutely beggars belief. In fact, there is a numerical value. I was going to say there's no value that we could put on it unless you're a Muslim, unless there's any Muslims in the room. But there is a numerical value. So if you're a Muslim, to do one prayer has a numerical value of 1. So if you're at home and you do one prayer, it's classed as 1. If you do the same prayer, the identical prayer, at Hajj, it has a numerical value of 100,000. So they do put a massive, we know that people go to the Hajj and they're so impassioned by everything that they're doing from the very start of the journey that this is where problems lead to. So this is where people stop where they shouldn't stop. This is where people fall on the floor and start praying. It's a real issue, and unfortunately the 2015 accident was as a result of this. Some people stopped, and then a few people panicked and turned around. And our view with everything that we're developing is you don't need to accurately monitor and track or push or maneuver the entire crowd. You only need to do the majority. That's from a crowd management perspective. From a security perspective, it's slightly different, which is also something that we're looking to attack. So before they start their journey, they will go to one of the globally recognised Hajj agents, where there's, as I said before, 4,000 of them, and they'll look to request a package, which will be, within that package you get your visa, you get your flights, you get the accommodation, you get a transfer, and you'll get your tag device. Now, you can't just get your visa on the own, you have to get one of these packages. And the packages range from between 3-star to 5-star, about $3,000 to about $50,000, which actually buys you last in, first out, bizarrely. It's kind of the other way around for a nice holiday in the Mauritius. But from that point, we will start collecting the pilgrim's key data at source, which will be their name, date of birth, key languages, medical data, and things like that. So once they arrive in Jeddah or Mecca, they will start the various steps of the Hajj. So these are some photos just in case you want to see what it looks like at the moment. And the most common Hajj that they do is Kamutu, which combines Umrah and Hajj itself. This involves them starting at the Masjid al-Haram, which is the picture, sort of, there's two pictures on the left side, where they'll move to the Kaaba, which is the middle picture, and it's black stone in the eastern corner. At that point, they will start the Tawaf, which is where they go around 7 times. And this is where it really starts. This is where the intensity of the occasion really kicks in. And then from that point, they'll move on to what's called the Valley of Mina. So the valley it's a few kilometres away, but that's where they go. Now, to put this into context, I'm actually going to show you a video of the Valley of Mina. Now, this literally gives me brown trousers every time I look at it, when I think of the challenge that we have to go through. So this, in our mind, is every bit of data that we're dealing with laid out flat on the floor. And I have to say, it's absolutely mind-blowing. All of these tents all have people in them. This is the Valley of Mina, and it stretches out up into various areas. But what's incredible is that during the Hajj, on I think it's the 8th night, the pilgrims will basically walk into the Valley of Mina. At this point, they'll then have to do 5 key prayers, and then the next morning they'll walk out and they'll go off to a place called Mount Arafat. What I find amazing is that, look at it, that's absolutely mind-boggling. That's like checking in the night before, doing your prayers, and then 2 million people checking out the next day, and then just going on their way. It's so beautifully well organised. And this is the sort of challenge that we're going to be attacking from a kind of infrastructure and a sort of how we're going to build out our radio frequency masts and so on and so forth. But yeah, I just think it's absolutely mind-blowing. It's actually sectioned out between your class, then your country, then your category of ticket, and then by sex. So yeah, so that's just a little video to hopefully give you a sense of the scale of what we've got to try and achieve. So, where are we? I'm actually flying through this. So how are we going to tackle data management? If you break it down into data, you will see various things, and this is what we've done. On the people side, the core data delivery and monitoring is actually quite small, as all we're actually going to have within the device and our databasing is a simple device identifier, which is made up of numbers and letters, and location data made up of simply XYZ coordinates. which is great, as obviously it conserves energy and battery, but from that point onwards, it then grows. So during the kind of most core moments of the Hajj, we will have over 2 million devices that are being located and recorded at 1 to 10 second intervals at an accuracy of between 2 to 10 centimeters every day for 15 days of the Hajj. The result is 34.6 billion data points per day for 30 days. For the rest of the year, which is through the Umrah season, and that includes Ramadan as well, which is equally as intense, we will have on average 20,000 devices which are recording 1 to 10 second intervals every day. And again, this translates to roughly 356 million points per day for 335 days of the year. And that's pretty incredible when you think about the amount of data that's being collected. And I think the fact that you're able to lay it out, as I showed with the Valley of Mina, it does give it a sense of actual physical and visual scale. So on the people side, or on the mapping side even, apologies, clearly didn't look through my slides beforehand. The physical side is an interesting one. So I spoke earlier briefly about the command center, and we put a lot of emphasis on this because I think that's the bit that they've really bought into. And this is where we're doing our 3D modeling. We'll be building a 3D mapping model of approximately 60 square kilometers. So, you know, that's quite intense. We'll be doing this using tri-stereo satellite systems, and it will be scanning on a daily basis. So this means that we will be positioning, depending on weather, but thankfully it's the Middle East, positioning satellites over the region and doing daily scans where we'll be able to analyse whether anything's moved or changed. So stuff like that's pretty cool. And again, you know, we're trialling that as we speak. We're actually trialling it over Guernsey. We'll be delivering approximately 25k of 3D polygon modelling, which in turn will be refreshed monthly. That's actually going to be modelled by our team. So we've got a team that we're working with whose sole purpose is to do the modelling side. But from the outset, we've got to basically look to deliver 25 to 40,000 internal and external buildings. Now, that, you know, I say it's terrifying me, but we're at the start of that journey now. When we speak to our client or when we speak to other people, they kind of look at us and they say, well, how long will the rollout take? And we kind of look and say, well, 8 to 12 months. And they look and say, well, that's a long time. And then we show them what we're actually achieving, and they kind of go, yeah, okay, we get it. You know, that's a lot of information, but it's a very logical process and a logical approach. In relation to actual personal data, we will hold the following for over 10 million pilgrims per year. As I said before, part of the visa application process is the personal details. We'll be holding medical data, personal preferences, travel accreditation, family and friend contacts, traveller contacts, and payment details. So that's a hell of a lot of data, as I said, and in fact, it's within a very hostile environment. Our base radio environment is over the air. It's in a highly crowded environment, i.e. the Hajj and Mecca and Medina, which is constantly changing, constantly updating, constantly evolving. It's like a massive, horrific Golden Gate Bridge of bits and bobs. I don't mean horrific in a bad way, just scary when you think about it. The main operating country, i.e. Saudi Arabia, is yet to inform us of their position on data security. So we're at a position where we're building out a system based on our principles of data security. And in that respect, many pilgrims will also come from or originate from countries with potentially dubious history for governmental data management, as well as human rights. And to add to that, you know, we can't avoid it, there's a war on terror that has meant that countries, both Muslim and non-Muslim, target data such as ours relating to devout Muslims through both legal and covert means. You know, we'd be fools to ignore that. So, what is our ethical standpoint on this? Well, for us, data is sovereign. Sorry, bear with me. Getting a bit trigger happy. What is our data is sovereign and owned by its originator, i.e. the pilgrim. We feel mass transfers of data rights via click-throughs is unethical. Untracked use and surveillance of both legal or covert data is unethical as well. Commercial transactions of data rights should always benefit the originator. And the legal transition of data rights should always involve the originator's consent. Now, I talked about the fluidity of a startup business, and I think we've hit data at a really good point. I know you spoke about GDPR before, and I think, the timing's right for us as a company, so we're in a position where we can look at it in a very different way. So our data business model is on providing a service of security and convenience for our customers, for which they pay us direct. Tag Team offers a security solution, but it also includes data security. We don't make money out of Pilgrim's data, although we will facilitate the ability to do that if they opt in. So this is our kind of loose business model when it comes to the data side. Now, I think I'm running over a bit, so I'll quickly go through to the conclusion. Why do we have this ethical approach and stance towards big data? Well, first of all, it's the big data fear. As an initial startup, it's that fear that it's very easy to get very far down the line with these things, and before you know it, it's impossible to turn back. And as such, we felt it was really, really important to make it clear what our company was prepared to do and was willing to sell or build. We're delivering our solution into the Middle East at the end of the day, and actually we see that as being a very big challenge in its own right. Data is encrypted at source and only accessible using keys controlled by the originator. Although our customer is, I'd class the Hajji, but our customer really is the Pilgrim. It's not the Saudi government. And as such, we get paid by the Pilgrim, not the government, and all other parties, including ourselves, are third parties. Third-party access to data is only available with explicit permission access, per access permission of the originator. And access to personal data is tracked with an audit trail available to the originator. And that's key. Our system creates a data rights audit trail, which is available to the originator, and they will be able to anonymously assert their rights, and in the case of commercialization, benefits from the revenue. And for us, data rights includes the right to have your personal data removed from the system. So that's about it as far as Tag Team, and we're learning to obviously manage big data one Hajji at a time, and this is our product and this is our approach. Thank you very much.